The generation that played on rubber padded playgrounds and got participation prizes grew up. It's not a mystery why they brought crap-ass characters.
That's a
No,
good point.
and it's also nepotism, and because you have people that are growing up. I feel like a long time ago, you had people with like really large aspirations. A good example is something Chris mentioned earlier with Sylvester Stallone writing the first Rocky movie and really holding out until a studio picked it up. And you had all these people driven for success, not really driven based on making their own mark and a franchise that already exists, or maybe their father or mother or grandfather is already in the industry and they just get a writing or a directing job immediately out of the gate. And you don't really get that anymore. So they don't really understand the human condition or strife. So they write characters how they've lived their life with zero conflict. It's why you get characters like Ray, which isn't bad at anything. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm bored. So I just do anything I want because my parents just give me money. And that's kind of you never get characters that have any struggles because these people have never struggled. They, got out of film school that was paid for, and then they go get a job because their dad works at a studio or their mom works at a studio, and they just get a job immediately and start making their mark on franchises that were created by people that had to struggle to get to where they were, like people like George Lucas and people that like created this giant expanded universe like through sheer will and like imagination. And now people are just like, oh, I just want to be a writer because my mom she's in the business. I guess I'll go into writing. I guess.
Real quick, this is my alt channel, and my main channel is in danger every day of getting banned as a result of talking with these amazing people very candidly. So please do me a favor and subscribe down below. Helps me out a lot. Get the hell on it, doggone it.
Yeah, it's people that get involved in the industry. Which has become very increasingly corporate. Yep. And so you got people entering that don't care. They just look on it as like, well, I'm climbing the ladder. I call them climbers. I can spot them from a mile away. It's just, but you look like George Lucas. Like the reason I think what he did is so interesting and profound, like he almost died in high school. Like you know about that, right? Like,
no.
Okay. George Lucas got in this car accident and basically spent his last year of high school in the hospital healing because he was kind of a fuck up who didn't have like real direction in life. His dad was like, oh, you're kind of a loser. Like, you got to like decide what you're going to do in life. And it's like, I just want to race cars. He was literally like Harrison Ford's character in American Graffiti. That was George Lucas. He was just sort of a combination more of the character played by Ron Howard. So he's more like the dork, but he loved to race cars. Well, wrapped a car around a tree and almost died. Spent the last year of high school like in a hospital recovering, and it profoundly changed his life. After that, he got very serious about his goals, but before that he was kind of a fuck up. So there's just a lot of lessons from that, and it changed everything about him. If you know anything about, there's a really good book, or not book, well, there's a lot of good books about Lucas. The best one is The Secret History of Star Wars. That book is everything you need to know about Star Wars. The other thing is there's a really cool podcast called Blockbuster, and it's about the making of Jaws and Star Wars and how they kind of paralleled each other. And like George Lucas and Spielberg for fun were like, hey, I'll give you 1 point in my movie if you give me 1 point in your movie. And they just like exchanged, like even Spielberg owns a point of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, and he owns a point of Jaws. It's like, that's how it was. They were just like kids that are like, we don't know what we're doing. I don't know. This is kind of fun. Making movies is cool. Like, and now it's just climbers and a-holes.
It's like the passion has been taken out of it. There's no passion left by anyone. There's no art left. There's no drive. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so funny. I didn't think about it like that, but it is. And they're also, another thing that they seem to be doing a lot, and Cody, you've brought this up, you talked about it, is they hire these people based on the color of their skin or their sexuality or their gender. And you look at the credits that they had before getting this big role, and it was like nothing. So they're not hiring people based on talent to begin with. They're just like, well, we have a quota to fill. We have some boxes to check. So great. Here it is.
Which colors if I could change to the.
Yeah. Give me those colors. Thank you very much.
What are the colors that I should
Can
use?
I have those ones? Yeah.
No, but there is definitely identity ties into it. Like there's a push for that, which, look, I think it's fine. I prefer the type of diversity. I think that's the best. It's just diversity of thought, but that doesn't seem to exist.
No.